Hmm. Couldn't you play the third one or fourth Dead Rising on stream? No, I played State of Decay. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, God. So there's that. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to swing around to the bottom area now and go into the Black Trench, do that quest. Then we're going to head north, do a little bit more farming there. Hopefully we'll get 21 soon. When we get 21, we're not only going to be able to get new weapons, which means we'll be able to spend all these resources we've been making. But on top of that, then we can actually go back and do the Crucible, which is level 21. So I feel like we'll have a little bit of a easier time there. I also totally screwed myself by accidentally wearing a experience lost weapon and then basically farming myself for kills. So that was fun. But hey, lessons learned, right? Better now than live. The one time my parry actually would have worked, this Chungus misses. Bro. Nice. How's the clay supply treating me? Oh, non-existent. Yeah, clay is... I think they adjusted it so you'd get a decent amount of clay if you were harvesting clay from the very beginning of the game. But obviously they didn't make that change until I was halfway through it. So it's been rough. Yeah, they really need to make it. I mean, if they're gonna... The thing that's weird about clay, and this is one of those, like, game design issues, is you cut down a tree, you get wood. You mine a node, you get ore. But when you dig up a digging spot, you don't always get clay. But it has the same requirements as the nodes that have guaranteed things in them. So what I think they need to do is they need to make it so clay, so dig spots always give the tier of clay that the player needs, and then extra stuff on top of it. But it's very strange when you have 3 resources, they all have the same 3 requirements, and only 2 of them give you guaranteed drops that you need, while the third one, the dig spots, just don't. That's just weird. Like, why would you do that? If you're gonna have a system and you want the whole thing to go up at the same level, which you would think that's what you want, you should make them all so they all drop what they need to all the time. So yeah, it's a weird situation with clay. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not really sure what the devs are trying to do with it, which is the weirdest part. Like, I'm not sure what what's their thinking with the fact that clay does not drop all the time. There's got to be a reason. I just can't, for the life of me, ascertain what it is. Nice. Caught him before he could slam his shield down. What is the end game? So here's what's weird. The main story of this game, which is obviously like most of the meat, the main story of this game just kind of stops because it's early access. That's you know what we expected. However, when the main story stops, there is this kind of like end game mechanic that opens up, and that is this thing called the Crucible. I'm really hesitant calling it an end game, because I don't know if it's an end game. I don't even know really what the mechanic is yet. I don't know if it's the kind of thing where you're supposed to revisit it throughout the course of the story, or if you're supposed to beat the story and then get access to it. Like, I don't know what it is. But what I will say is that they do have a system already in the game that allows them to randomly spawn dungeons with random challenges and random loot. And in a game like this, that's a very interesting proposition, because that means that you have a fundamentally fully developed end game if you use those tools properly. And that's a really cool idea. So, you know, there's not a lot of Souls-like games where you get to the end and then they give you a whole bunch of rogue-like style levels to play. So that's kind of fun. So yeah, I mean that's the current what we have in the early access is like a glimpse of that system. Obviously, it's barely even in. Like right now, it's just random levels with random loot, random things. But I mean, the framework there is something they could go crazy with if they wanted to. So I'm assuming that's going to be the end game. I'm thinking, yeah, kind of like Chalice Dungeons. Yes, yes, kind of like Chalice Dungeons, except they're done in like, well, actually, yeah, very, very similar to Chalice Dungeons, actually. And there haven't really been a lot of things since Chalice Dungeons, have there? So yeah, they're very similar, in a good way, in a great way. But I super dig it. It's why I'm still playing the early access, is because there's like 5 dungeons. We haven't even beaten the first one. So clearly there's a lot of fun stuff to do there. Yeah, funny enough, I finished the main quest at level 17, and the first dungeon is 21. So it's kind of wild. And I'm assuming there's 5. I don't know if there's only 1, but I'm assuming there's 5. It looks like there was like 5 spots going up the side, but maybe we can only do the first one right now. I don't know. I haven't beaten it, so. Hey, Ham, what's up, buddy? All right, we got to go back. What was that? Oh, it's just some weird collection. That we need for sure. Here we go. Perfect. Yeah, we really have to be breaking every barrel because RNG T3 items are spawning into the world now. And I'm pretty sure every barrel is a champion, which is kind of huge. Right. Go back and bank real quick. Oh yeah, no. If you've already bought it through my link, then you should get the $8 off and the discount and all that stuff. That link is valid until the 2nd of May.
I should have.
You got time. Well, I like this game if I don't like Souls-likes. It depends on why you don't like Souls-likes. I mean, this game has a whole lot of Souls-like influence, but it plays like an ARPG. So, I mean, yeah, I would say it really depends on why you don't like Souls-likes. We got to go turn that in. Let's go do that. We also got to use this fish next time we go out. Let's pop that up there now.
Maybe it's time you trade in that silly outfit for a uniform.
What a jerk. Oh, Andy boy, that's a really good point. Yeah, really good point. Quick note, by the way, just like everything on Steam, this goes for pretty much everything. Just like everything on Steam, if you apply a key and you don't purchase it, you can't refund it. So please keep in mind when buying through my link. That is a non-refundable purchase. And thank you for the reminder there. A very good point. What about the Valheim thingy today? Oh, we're gonna do the. I'm gonna watch the Valheim thing at some point today. Yeah. All sales are final at the Cohh store. That's true. Yep. What happened to Rise of Ronin? It'll be back.
Wonderful.
Give it.
Within
It'll be back. Try the game out through Steam, refund it, then get it through Cohh's link. Okay, don't do that. I appreciate the sentiment, but don't do that. Yeah, that's cool. If at that point, just keep the game. You don't need to jump through any hoops. I'm good. But thank you. I feel like there's a disconnect between the randomized loot system and no ability to respec. Kind of makes farming gear for a specific build pointless and feeling like you have to build around the first few weapons you find. What you're talking about is exactly one of the things that these devs need to worry about in this game. And one of the things we've talked about that exact thing multiple times. And funny enough, a very, very easy solution to that is what we were talking about yesterday about having handcrafted loot and RNG loot. So, like for instance, in a game like this, maybe have special sub bosses always drop the same type of weapon. Even if you RNG the stats on it, just always have like the same style of weapon or the same type of weapon drop on the same optional boss or same side bosses. And then it's like you want to make sure the player is that the player is exposed to all their options so they can properly choose their option. For instance, there is a chance, let's be real, there's a chance that someone could play this game, and I don't know how their RNG works, but I mean, if it works, like if it's actual RNG, there's a chance that somebody could play this and like never find a decent strength weapon that they couldn't buy from a vendor, or never roll a good one. You know, maybe they started this game wanting to do a specific thing, and there's a chance they will never have a good weapon drop for that specific thing they're looking for. So it's like one of those situations where it's like RNG can be cool, but in a Souls-like environment,
Nothing sings like steel.
a lot of times, like that type of farming is not normal. So you have to make sure that there's not too much RNG. Like you need to throw players a bone, basically. If a player wants to get a specific thing out of the game, you need to give them the ways to do that. So, like for instance, here's an idea. Like, what if there was an Oracle NPC, and you could go up to that Oracle NPC and spend a rare resource, and then you could choose a weapon type, and that weapon would drop 30% more regularly in your world. And you could have one buff like that on at a time. So it's like, it's not going to like change your game completely, but it's going to like nudge the game a little more towards where you're trying to go. You know what I mean? Or maybe there's like a rune that you could equip, or maybe there's something you can put on gear. Like I feel like the devs need to give players the tools to shape maybe the RNG a little bit more to what, not completely. I don't mean everything that drops needs to be an upgrade, not even a tenth of it. But I mean, it'd be a good idea to be able to shape the world a little bit more around what, like, think about it this way. If you get to the end of the game and 99%, 95% of your RNG drops are for things that you don't have the stats to use, it's like, that just sucks. You know what I mean? But imagine if you could like farm rare resources to talk to an oracle to make it so like 30% of your weapon drops are spear, which is what you're spec'd into. You know, something like that could be kind of cool. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, this is going to be the kind of thing where this is new to this type of looting system is not generally seen in this genre. So the devs have a lot of freedom, which is both a good and bad thing in how they're going to implement this whole system. But it's going to be fun, dude. Like, I can already tell it's going to be, like, they've got some really cool ideas going here. And this also opens up a lot of really interesting ideas in this genre that we haven't really done before, which is kind of fun as well. So, yeah, definitely digging it. When will we play a game made by Cohh? I am the executive producer of a game called Emberville, which is in production, and we actually, hopefully we'll have some news for it in like a week or two. But yeah, I'm actually I'm executive producer in a game called Emberville. So I am helping make that game as good as it can be, basically. Yeah. And I can't wait to play my game just like this one and sit here and talk about all the things that are wrong with it and what needs to change, and talk to you about how it can be better. And everything I'm doing with this game is exactly what I'm gonna do with my game when I get to that point. Yep. We're gonna play my game Emberville. We're gonna talk about why it sucks. We're gonna talk about how it can be better. We're gonna talk about mechanics in it. We're gonna talk about how those mechanics can be better. Oh yeah, dude. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait to have those streams, dude. It's gonna be really cool.
I'll learn monkey.
Mm-hmm. Cohh's gonna be dissecting it? Oh, you know it, dude. You know it. What's going to be really cool about those streams, though, is by the end of those streams, I'm going to be like, okay, we need to change this, 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 and this. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to play a new build with all those changes in it. That's going to be cool. Well, maybe not 2 weeks. That may be a little, 2 weeks may be a little,
Everything as you promised.
at a later date, we'll play it there.
Good day.
Maybe not 2 weeks. I don't want to, like, crunch my team here. I know, cracking the whip, right? I can't wait to list off 5 things and have them be in the build that night. Right, team? Right? Yeah. 6-hour turnaround. On a Sunday. Okay, great deal. Okay. I work on a Sunday, so can you. All right. We call this co-agile development. That's right. Dyward says, Co, you realize this is live.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. The C for Co stands for crunch. That's right. Dude, that stuff is so ridiculous. I can't believe some of the stuff I've heard with that. As a game dev, working with a small team is super fun. You can have changes and fixes in hours, and it feels amazing, says Mr. Drapey. Yeah, the team for Emberville is super unique, like which I really enjoy. It's incredibly agile. It's not a large team. It's only about 20, and but they are a very, very cohesive, cool team. We'll talk a lot more about the team behind Emberville in the coming weeks and months, for sure. Let's see. Do I want to sell anything? I do want to sell this stuff real quick. Why? Okay, small little note, by the way. Anytime you switch between buy and sell, it should not change the tab you're currently on. It should always keep whatever tab you're currently on when you switch between buy and sell. Because you can sell everything to anyone. It's not a concern. Like I can. Oh wait. Oh yeah, we can. We can sell everything to everyone, right? Yeah, I can sell this guy this axe. Yeah. So everyone can buy everything. So there's no reason to not do that. Oh, hold up. I get 2 birch fishing rods? Oh, I did. Look at that. Whoops. Whoops. All right, the only armor that I'm hanging on to right now, the only armor is stamina up stuff. Ooh, 42 dex. No. Yeah, I really want stamina up stuff. 3 rings? How many new realms did you do? None. I prioritize my rings. I did do 1 new realm once.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
only 1 moon in the heavens now. How remarkable it would have been to study the sky at the time of your ancestors.
Cheez-It says, hey, Co, when making decisions on how to make a game, how do you know what's best for it? Just from years of playing? It depends on a couple things. So there's 2 different perspectives I take when I'm thinking about game design these days. The first is, what do I think I would really like? And the second is, what do I think that my community would really like? So there are things that I know I like in games that I also know are not for everyone. I tend to enjoy a little bit more tediousness than a lot of people. I also, funny enough, I also tend to err more on the side of QOL than most people. So it kind of depends, but really, I mean, the short of it is, I just ask myself, what through all the games I've played, all the different mechanics and things I've seen, the thing that people have to remember is a lot of times these mechanics are all in a fight with each other. You know, like the durability system between all games is technically in a race with all other durability systems to know which one is best. So Whenever I come up to a mechanic, the first thing I think of is, okay, I've probably seen this mechanic 100 times before. What were my favorite iterations of it and why? And then when I identify that, the next thing I ask is, how can I make this better? And I feel like that's what most game devs do. But funny enough, that sounds obvious. But if it were the case, then you would think that like all newer games would have all the awesome QOL that we've learned over the last decades. But that's not the case. So it's the situation where it's like sometimes the obvious answer is the best, and that's kind of the one in this case as well. So that's just what I do. You look at the mechanic, you take it by itself and see if it's fun, and then most importantly, you also have to connect it to other mechanics and be like, does this make sense? Is this an ancillary mechanic? Is this a friction mechanic that's going to make another mechanic more enjoyable or better, or more immersive? So, I mean, it's, you know, lots of different things go into it. But yeah, the TLDR to your question is, I've played a ton of games. So, I have a good idea about what I like and don't like. And I also have a good idea about what works and don't works. I mean, what we're doing right now, this discussion, we have had these discussions for thousands of hours over the last 10 years. What works in games? What doesn't work in game? What do you like? What do you not like? You know, and why do you not like it? Why do you like it? And, you know, so I just use all that information when making decisions on what works and doesn't. This game needs guns? I mean, they could easily put in rifles. They already have a range system built into the focus system, so... I mean, they could easily put in a flintlock or something. Yeah. They've already got bows. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna keep moving away around down to the beach. We've got hopefully some dig spots there to dig up, and then we have to get into this black trench dungeon, kill all those fools, and then we will. Can I jump down here? I think I can, can't I? Yeah. And then we'll see about doing the crucible. Pause if you could, Suzu. Thank you, bud. Dang, dude. That bro was dancing around me. He was dancing around me.
Drink something!
I'm trying to kill the big boss in the sewers, but he's slapping my ass. Any tips? Don't let him slap your ass. Good luck. No, for me, the best tip I can have for that guy, the second phase is actually incredibly easy. He's only got, like, just stay far away from him. He's got, like, a couple very slow lunging attacks. Just wait for him to do a lunging attack and then dodge that and get a couple hits in. So second phase is super easy. First phase is very similar. Just go very slow and keep your distance. Don't try to parry or, like, get up in his face, because he will wreck you if you do that. Keep your distance and really work on your time. Stuck in the wall. There we go. I was stuck in the wall. That's cool. It happens. Crump PSD, Cohh or the game recognizes your main stats and the higher... Oh, you're saying highlighted message as opposed to the loot system. The game could also recognize your main stats, and the higher a stat, the higher the rate at which you will find that stat on gear. If they don't put in a respect... Like, I like that idea... But, and this is that kind of tightrope that the devs are going to have to walk. What the devs have to decide is how much do they want the system to feel like true RNG? Because they have a sliding scale now. Like, how much do we want to give the player items that they want and will be good for them? And how much do we want to show the player what other avenues are available? And there's no right answer there. So, like, right now, and I'd have to ask the devs, but right now the game feels like it's pure RNG. That's how the game feels. I don't feel like I'm getting any specific weapons or anything. Really, I don't, like, yeah, nothing like that exists currently that I can see. So it would be interesting to see, like, what that system would look like. Yeah. Because at that point, it's like, okay, how much do you weight the primary stat? Do you weight it so every 2 out of, every 50% of items that drop are for your main stat? Do you make it so every 10% of the items are guaranteed? Do you make it so every 90%? And which, what would the benefits of those be? So I think probably it's a passage from idea to execution where things get messy and start to clash with each other or cause issues, right? I feel like sometimes games start with good ideas, then one tune pass after the other, and things can fall apart. Well, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it's one of the reasons we don't see some mechanics generally functioning together, because it just doesn't work well together. And funny enough, in a game like this, like, RNG looting's cool, but it's also shown in the past to not be the best way to do this. So it'll be interesting to see if we see that stuff work. It is kind of taking the idea of like a Dark Souls randomizer to the extreme, which is kind of cool. But yeah, but then again, like you play a Dark Souls randomizer after you play Dark Souls, right? You don't play a randomizer the first time you play Dark Souls. That's crazy. So that's where it gets a little different with this game. Is Cohh just farming at this point? Not really. I'm actually working towards being able to do the Crucible. So yes, I am farming, but I'm farming towards a goal. I'm not just farming to farm. I am farming with purpose. Sure. Yeah, plus 60 says, RNG is cool if you have some control of it, not totally random. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking, like, they should have an entire NPC or an entire mechanic that allows you to loosely alter the RNG of your world. I could see that being as really, really cool. And what's even more interesting about that is people could choose to ignore it or, oh, wait a second. Oh man, imagine this. Imagine if the devs gave the player the choice for this. What if you could keep your world totally RNG, but the quality of your items was higher, or you could make it so you get more specific items at a less quality rate. So it's like, and then keep in mind, a less quality weapon you could then spend resources to enhance and change yourself, because that's how the system works in this game. So it would be like you could make your own experience. There'd be like an NPC where it's like, like an oracle, and you could have her, alter and change the world to kind of fit how you want the RNG to work. I think that would be kind of cool. Ashentrash says, I'd rather have a way to increase drop percentage without impacting quality levels. Well, okay, and here's the thing, Ashentrash. That's totally valid, and I think having that be one of the options would be cool. So, like, I think it'd be fun because the thing about with this RNG system is lots of different players are going to want to do it differently. But if you intelligently and immersively made it so it was a game mechanic that you choose how the world is, then it's like everyone gets exactly what they want. Because they literally can just make the world RNG how they prefer. Oh, I like total RNG? Cool, we'll do total RNG. Oh, I want like specific weapon or a specific weapon to drop more? Cool, I'll do that. Oh, I want an armor set that's light or under certain weights to drop more? Oh, I'll do that. So like, that kind of thing. How would you balance that? All it would be is balancing drop rates on the back end. That's all it would be. There would be no new items. There would be no different items. There would be no in-game balancing of any kind. All it would be is changing drop rate percentages on the back end. That's it. So It would, I mean, hell, you know what would be interesting? Oh, man. This is pie in the sky stuff, but I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. They could even release a DLC or a 1.0 gameplay mode that removes RNG from the game entirely. Where you would have an option to play it like a Souls-like. So every boss would drop the exact same weapon. Every weapon would be the exact same location of the world. So, like, and I realize that would be a huge amount of work to do. But, I mean, all the items are already in the game. Everything's already in the game. I mean, all they'd have to do is, like, go through the world and choose what drops where and everything. I mean, yeah, it'd take a weekend or two. And then a lot of balancing. But, I mean, it would be... I don't think that's anything they should actually do, but it would be an interesting... it'd be an interesting test to put something like that out into the world and then track how many people choose which one. Like, that would be a crazy interesting data set to have. And more importantly, would it bring people to the game that would normally not play it? Like, that's an interesting idea too. But yeah, cool stuff to think about. I mean, this stuff is super fun to talk about. I love this stuff.